What's going on, guys? My name is Matt with Carolina Coops, and to my left I have Mackenzie. Mackenzie, you're here because I need your help. She has no idea what I'm about to ask her. I'm being asked to do a video for you guys. We're gonna do the top 10 things people get wrong when they first get into backyard chickens. Mackenzie, you're on the phone a little bit here at Carolina Coops.
Most of my day.
Yeah, so Mackenzie gets a lot of calls, and if there's anyone that's gonna know the mistakes people make in the beginning, it's definitely gonna be you. So I wanna real quick start at number 10, work our way up to probably the biggest mistake people make when they're getting into chickens. I already know number one. Now, we have not rehearsed this. We have no idea what this is gonna be because I can't sit in a piece of paper and be like, okay, what are the top 10 mistakes? Because so many things too that I thought about, I'm like, it's really not a mistake. That might be an opinion. 10's not gonna be easy, but we're gonna give it hell. So number 10.
I put my coop in the wrong spot.
Okay, that's not bad. Tell me, how do you put your coop in the wrong spot? Tell me a bad spot.
In a low-lying area with poor drainage.
Oh, great point. You definitely do not want water running through the run of your coop. Now, we love that we have a solid roof on the run. I always tell people you want to have a dry problem, not a wet problem.
Absolutely.
However, if you got runoff going through that run, that can be a problem. So keep that in mind. What are some other things that people will do that means they put a coop in the wrong spot?
No shade or no access to shade.
Yeah, if you can put your coop in a shady spot, that is ideal. That's what the chickens really want. You want to keep the hens cool.
I put my coop too close to a fence.
Why is that a problem?
I can't get behind my coop to do any maintenance.
Okay, so that's a good point. So let's come over here. So when you're starting to put your coop in, yeah, here's a mistake people make. They're looking at the outside of their, their hen house, their run area, and they're like, okay, I got 2 feet off the fence, no problem. And all of a sudden they're like, oh crap, I got to put an egg hutch on.
Right.
And our egg hutch bumps out almost 18 inches. So I can see that as a spot that could be a problem.
I try to tell our customers when we're going through the process of like site prep and all of those questions that people ask, you want to give yourself at least enough space to put a wheelbarrow all the way around your coop.
Okay, I like 4 foot. I think that's a good rule. That way, you have room for the egg hutch. And also even back here, you're definitely gonna want 4 foot back here.
Right.
Like you just
I
mentioned.
would say that this is the most important space to give yourself as much space as possible because these are, the better part of
almost 2 feet,
right.
3 feet.
Almost 3 feet.
Yeah, you got to give yourself plenty of room. Okay, so location, right? Very, very important. We got all kinds of videos out there talking about where do I put my coop. Here's a big mistake people make, especially when you're getting one of our coops because they're big. Do not underestimate how important it is to make sure your ground is perfectly flat and level.
Yes.
Okay, because if your coop's not level, your doors are not going to work right. They're going to keep swinging back in at you or they're going to swing out at you. But the biggest thing is you don't want twist. Okay,
right.
If you have twist in your foundation, that's going to make the doors bind. What were you just pointing at?
Well, the roofing also, because everything we do is so precise. We notch the rafters or rafters, gables, trusses, whatever. So if you have
twist,
it's not going to seat.
Right. Guys, listen, if you're putting one of our coops together, I promise you everything is cut perfectly, and you want to take advantage of that, especially with the roof system. So what she's talking about is basically our roof system is notched like a Lincoln log set.
Absolutely.
And you want to use those index points so that you true your coop up as you assemble it. Now, wood is not perfect. There are times you might have to move it and bend it or whatever, but that's just woodworking.
Right.
But trust those index points, trust those notches. And if your coop is on twist and you go to sight your peaks of your gables and it's going like this, that's going to be a problem. It's not the coop, it's the foundation.
Right.
All right, another big mistake. Beginners, okay?
I was on Facebook and someone said I should put sand in my run, so I did.
You just read my mind. Let's go in the run real quick. See, people are gonna get mad at us, but you know what? That's okay. You guys are free to comment. We love that you comment because I know so many people are like, oh my gosh, that's not a mistake. That is a must.
Right.
It's a huge mistake. Let's go into the run real quick. One of the biggest mistakes you can make when it comes to setting up your chicken coop, getting in the chickens, is using sand or concrete or screening the floor of your run. Those are all rookie mistakes. You do not want a sterile environment in your run. Chickens, you want to keep them healthy. They need to be chickens, and that means they got to get into the soil, eat things from the soil,
right.
Scratch the soil.
I mean, if you look here, like this is not from something trying to get in the coop or trying to get out of the coop. This is the chickens digging.
Yeah.
And they don't make small holes. I mean, they're in there.
Yeah, that's another good point. You got to make sure you give them room to dig. So that's another mistake. Maybe this is now number 4, but they underestimate underestimate how far down chickens are going to dig.
All the time.
Where people are like, no, man, I don't trust your predator apron. I'm going to screen it, but yeah, you're right. The chickens are going to dig, so let me go down 12 inches. No, if you were going to run a screen down along the bottom of the floor of the run, which again is stupid, it's unnecessary. If you were going to do that, at least 2 feet.
Right, and you have to think too, if they're digging and you have something like this underneath your substrate, imagine what that's going to do to your chicken's feet, their toes.
Yes, that's why you don't want to do it. It's good. You're going to have bumblefoot. You're going to absolutely have bumblefoot.
Well, if you look, I mean, this is what, a 4x4? This is a 2x4. You've got about 8 inches here that they've already dug down.
Yeah.
So give yourself enough space, build up your substrate enough that chickens can do what they're supposed to.
I'm not going to say this is a mistake, but maybe this is definitely for the people that are thinking about getting into chickens. And this is why I say it over and over and over. If you have the right setup and the right feeders and the right waters, it's so easy. But a lot of people, I feel, underestimate using nipples of some sort, like our water bar.
Right.
And you don't want to have to come out here and clean out the water every day because the chickens are scratching stuff into it, especially in a brooder. You know, if you think about it with baby chicks, you know, you got the little water. It's always good to lift that up a little bit or get them the little vertical nipple like we use. The baby chicks love it. So I don't know. I don't know if it's considered a mistake, but I can tell you, you're doing yourself a disservice by not taking advantage of one of our water bars or making your own water bar.
I would say that's a great way to put that. People ask all the time, like, well, what else do I need? And you don't necessarily need a high capacity watering system, a high capacity feeder. Save yourself the trouble. Keep your chickens healthier because they're going to poop in their water. They're going to fling their substrate from their run in the water that's got poop in it. And you're touching it and carrying it across your yard to dump it out, to spray it out, filling it back up, bringing it back to your coop. It's just not fun. And look at how much run space you gain by having it mounted on your run.
That's another good point. You know, and another mistake I know people make when they're getting into chickens and they're building their own chicken coop. Again, I can't emphasize size. I mean, that's just number one.
Size matters.
Size matters. That is the most important thing. That's the biggest mistake I see so many people make. But when we're talking about the actual coop, if we want to get into the weeds of it, when it comes to the run area, I see this mistake all the time. They put a run on the front of their hen house and they screen the roof of the run. And it's a huge mistake because one, you're not providing shade for your chickens during the daytime. Also, when it rains, it is going to be so messy in here.
You're just making a pool.
Also, when all the leaves, especially in the fall time, are falling on top of that screen, it just gets messy. It weighs it down. It looks awful. And you got to go in there with a leaf blower and blow them all off. Take the time, put on a solid roof. We love metal roofs.
We do.
A mistake potentially you can make is, let's say you're collecting rainwater off the roof of your coop.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know where
and
you're
you use
going.
asphalt shingles. That's actually a huge mistake because there are a lot of chemicals in asphalt shingles that potentially can get into the water. So if you are collecting rainwater off your roof, highly recommend metal, and that'll make the water a lot safer.
And those little particulates on the asphalt, and now it's going to be like in your gutters, and now it's in your rain barrel, and now it's clogging up your hoses, and it's just overall not a good thing. In similar circumstances too, there's a huge concern for avian influenza right now. Having a covered run is going to help lessen the possibility that migratory birds, that native species are potentially transmitting that through their droppings into your run, because birds are going to perch on your screen on top of your coop if it's not roofed.
Yeah, so right now it is, March 25th, 2025. So God knows when you're watching this video, maybe by the time you're watching it, bird flu's long and gone. Well, right now it's hot and heavy.
Yeah.
And that is one thing. That's, we were just talking about the water. I was thinking in the back of my mind, I can see the comments already. Oh my gosh, collecting rainwater, what about bird flu? You're right. These are things you have to think about.
Sure, but if your bird's free range, also, you can give them the best, cleanest water, and they're still going to go drink out of the nastiest puddle in your driveway, in your yard, in your neighbor's yard, if they're allowed to go over there. Anywhere that they can go, they will go, for sure.
Absolutely. And another thing I was just thinking about, another mistake I see all the time with people in the beginning, especially when they're building their chicken coop, in general, do not underestimate predators, okay? But when we want to get down to the nitty gritty, there is a reason why we love the 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch hardware cloth. That will minimize snakes that are big enough to crawl up and get into the egg hutch and eat the eggs. The little ones can fit through here, but I promise you the chickens will love that because that's free chicken food.
Absolutely.
Also, you don't want raccoons to have the ability to reach in and pull your chickens out. Now, with that said, here's the thing. Raccoons are a nocturnal creature,
right?
And your chickens should not be down in an area in the run that the raccoons can reach in and get them, because they should be up in the hen house house, which is the reason why you take a look at all our windows. You know, back in the old days, I used to always use 1/2-inch hardware cloth on the windows, and then to try to save the customer money, we would use the PVC coated hexagrid chicken wire, and raccoons can reach through that. So we just decided years ago, we're gonna go 1/2-inch hardware cloth all the way around. So that is another big mistake. Just you're tiptoeing into getting backyard chickens. You don't wanna, you know, maybe make the investment right away, especially into something like a Carolina Coop or an American Coop, but you wanna build your own, which I love, okay? I love when people get out there and, you know, they're trying to create and build things, but I promise you, 1/2-inch hardware cloth is ideal. You can get away with the galvanized, that's not PVC coated, but I can tell you it will eventually rust. And the worst part is it's shiny.
Terrible.
It does. You can't see through it. So you see the hack of people trying to, you know, paint it.
Paint it with the black paint and a roller?
Yeah. Have you ever done that?
No.
I haven't either. I don't know if it really works, but, you know, I just find that funny when I see those videos.
Right. I mean, we also have it up here too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a good point. We had the snake guard in case, you know, if you got your coop in the woods, like we recommend, and then a snake will try to fall down from the tree branches. Well, they can't because we got snake guard right there. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know how many mistakes we have come up with so far, but here's the point. If you think about the things we've talked about, 99% of it, if not maybe 100, is about the coop.
Yeah.
The chickens are so easy as long as you have the right setup.
Absolutely.
Did we collect eggs yet today?
I have not been off the phone a whole lot.
Listen, okay? This is, I can't emphasize this enough. People have accused us of staging this. This is not staged. I promise you, we don't have time for that. So many people, this drives me nuts. They're like, oh, I got to clean my eggs. My eggs are dirty.
You shouldn't have to clean your eggs.
Exactly. Here's a huge mistake. Huge mistake people make when they're first getting in the backyard chickens. They think, oh, I need a rollaway nest box or an old rollaway egg hutch, right? So yeah, no, it's not what they want. I know, I've seen the videos. I see people on social media like, oh, look at this solution. No, if you have the need, you think you have the need for a rollaway nest box, it means you got too many chickens. That's the big mistake.
Right.
Oh my gosh, if there's a #1 mistake, you know, we always talk about size matters, too many chickens for too small of a coop, or you don't have your chicken to coop ratio in check. That is a huge mistake.
I think it's a lot more common than maybe a lot of people want to believe, because who wants to say, I have too many chickens? No one.
Right. And you know,
I don't.
This also makes me realize, we tell our customers this all the time, another common mistake. And most of our customers are still brand new to chickens, and we love them. We want to tell them the things that I know nobody else tells them.
Right.
It is so important when you do buy a coop or you're designing your own coop. A lot of people are like, I'm going to start with 6 chickens, maybe 12 chickens. That's a great number to start.
Sure.
Build your coop big enough, double your flock.
That's what I tell people all the time.
I promise you, chicken math is 100% real.
Well, you know, you go online, you see these breeds, everybody says this is a great breed to start with. Now you got them, now they're growing up and they're really pretty. And now you're looking at other breeds, and now all of a sudden you have one of this breed and one of this breed, and then you see a new breed that maybe you don't know about, and then all of a sudden you have 30 chickens and they're everywhere.
And speaking of the chickens, here's my favorite part. So let's go out here. Let's do a quick, you know, we're just talking about the egg hutch and the rollaway nest boxes. Huge no-no, completely unnecessary. I think a lot of the chickens have been laying over here now. You know, a common beginner mistake too, and this is, I don't know where this comes from. A lot of people think if you got 12 chickens, you have to have 12 nest boxes.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
No.
You don't. You can have, like right now, we have 10 chickens sharing one nest box.
Right.
All right, so we're gonna open up.
And they have 10 to choose from.
Yeah, right. So, and actually, here's another common mistake. We talk about this all the time. I promise. I wanted to come up with 10 mistakes people make with their chickens.
It's not the chicken's fault.
It's right. If you have a lift-up roof on your egg hutch, that's going to be a problem. Here we got, and actually, I forgot, one of our employees already came in and got 3 eggs. So look at, we're just going to get these eggs, but you should not have to clean your eggs.
See, look, this one's a little funny shape.
Let's see, maybe they moved. Oh, here's another big mistake. What type of nesting material should you use?
That's a good one. And we get that question all the time. You want to use something that's stringy and like moldable, because think about a bird's nest in a tree. They're not flat. You know, you want something like this. You can see where they've gone in there. You can see where they've made a bowl to lay their eggs in. That's cushy and soft, and they can grab them with their beaks and move around. If you use something flat, you open yourself up for broken eggs. They're likely to not use the nest box at all. So now they're going to go in the bedding, which is probably the next closest place that they can nestle down into. Now you're going through your hen house. They're potentially dirty. You can use, this is orchard grass. You can use coastal hay. You could use Timothy hay, something long and stringy.
Notice hay. A grassy material is ideal. You can get away with straw, but a lot of people frown upon straw because it's hollow. It can harbor mites.
Right, and moisture.
Yes, and then people are like, oh, it can impact back their crop. I have used straw for a very long time, but I love hay. It is definitely my favorite. We get it very easily here. But the point is, take advantage of, you want to encourage their instincts.
Right. I mean, they're birds after all.
You guys have to get off to management school. Did we have enough? I can tell you another big mistake if you're designing a chick coop, not incorporating the deep litter system. Huge mistake. Not making it tall enough to walk into. Huge mistake.
Right.
But again, it all comes back to the coop.
Right. It's not the chickens usually. And everybody's got to start somewhere. So don't be discouraged. Things can always change. You can always learn and do better and set yourself up for success.
Okay, maybe this will make the cut. Since you mentioned it, we are going to be releasing a new starter coop here soon. All right.
It's a lot different.
It's very different. It goes against a lot of what I said, but guys, listen, I get it. A lot of people want to get into this wonderful hobby, but our most affordable coop right now with the Cali Coop is what, $4,700? I get it. That's a lot of money for something you're not sure about.
Right.
Guys, what I fear is you go to the brick and mortar stores, you go get those cheap Chinese coffins. They're lying to you. They're telling you, oh, 6 to 8 chickens in there. Hell no.
What kind?
And you get them and you bring them home, and then all of a sudden you have all kinds of problems with your chickens. It's not the chickens, it's the coop, the environment. It is critical for the health and safety of your chickens. Absolutely. I promise you, especially if you want nice, beautiful, clean eggs.
Yeah.
Awesome. Leave the comments down below. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Hopefully I've upset our YouTube chicken police. Where are you? I haven't heard from you guys in a while. Make sure if you haven't already, hit that bell wherever it is. Subscribe, follow, watch for more.
Yeah.
Later.